Hey, Nikki here, and in this video I'm going to show you a few different exercises that you can do using a kettlebell to promote stability in your SI joints, so stay tuned. All right, let's do this. So a quick note on this, if you're watching this video, there's a good chance you already know what your SI or your sacroiliac joint is, but in short, not to moon you, but we have this little triangular bone back here, and there's a little place where it meets the sides of our pelvis. And that little spot is your SI joint. You've got two, you've got one on each side. And for some of us, that area can kind of feel kind of cranky or sore or ouchy or just weird. And a lot of the time, it's not that it can't really go out. It's actually a very stable joint, but there's some sort of repetitive loading pattern, usually maybe something like a twist or a favoring on one leg that's not dangerous, but it's uncomfortable, and it's because our body doesn't really like repetitive loading over and over again in the same area, or there's kind of poor force transference through that area from either when we go to take a step, so from leg across body up through arms, so from bottom to top, or it could be from top if we were like throwing something down the body to bottom. So when we start to add load or a kettlebell or a weight in certain ways, we can sort of train the body to more favorably transfer that force. And in turn, that adding of load and that sort of stability and strengthening around that area and through the body can really kind of make it feel a lot more comfortable to sit and stand and move and not feel that discomfort, if you will. So if you have ongoing issues, definitely consult your doctor. But here's a few exercises that you can kind of play with or try and see if over time it helps. So the first one, you want a chair or something to sit in, and a kettlebell that doesn't need to be heavy. It can be pretty light. And of course, you don't need like a fancy box. That's just what I had on hand. A chair is fine. So what will happen for this is you will have your weight like so, and you will want to set up your feet just kind of roughly underneath your knees. And the weight here is going to help me start to feel and activate my core. And all you're going to do is just push into your feet. And you're going to feel when you push into your feet that there's this kind of lifting up through the core and the spine. And you can feel how you can equally weight onto both sit bones. And then you just kind of let it go. That's the entire exercise. So fancy, I know. Push into your feet. You'll feel your pelvis almost kind of tuck under or roll back a little bit. Your spine will get really long, and then you let it go. We'll go like 2 more times. You can push, feel that little bit of core activation, and let it go. 1 more time. Push into your feet. Your core will naturally activate. Your spine will lengthen just because of the load in the body position, and let it go. And that's the whole exercise. So fancy, right? All right. Next one you can do is standing. So for this, you're not going to need your chair or your box. So I'm just going to move mine out of the way. And there's 2 things that you can do here. The first one is actually just a goblet squat, which is just a version of a squat. So again, weight helps holding onto a kettlebell or something because it gives you more feedback on how to organize your body and control forces through your SI joint. So for this one, again, you want a moderately weighted kettlebell. It doesn't need to be the heaviest in the world, but you want it to be heavy enough that like you feel a little something in terms of how you hold your core. So the way I like to pick it up is I just kind of have it between my feet, bring it up, and then you just find a comfortable squat stance, maybe a little wider than hips, toes shied out slightly. And then all you do is sit down any amount and then push into your feet and stand. That's the whole exercise. Inhaling down. Exhale to stand up. Now, I'll give you a side view. For some of you, your squat may look a little bit more like this and be a little bit smaller. For some of you who have the range, if it's comfortable, you can go butt to grass, if you will, and stand up. Either one, right? As you do this, you're trying to keep your big toes connected to the mat, but your knees are pressing out so they don't dive in. You could do, I don't know, up to 10 of those for like 2 rounds. See how that feels, or just integrate that into any of your strength training or workout programs. Last one I'm going to show you here is a little variation on the deadlift. Now, again, if you have an active SI joint issue going on, maybe this isn't where you would start. This is a little bit more advanced, but so you can see where you can take things. So for this one, it's called a kickstand deadlift. And again, it's starting to help us start to learn how to load through the pelvis, which we need when we walk, run, jump. So for this, you will have the kettlebell on one side. You have your feet about hip width apart, and then you just kick one leg back and you just look, are my knees still in line? So from the side, I don't want my foot way back here. Ideally, I want my knees in about the same place. And then you could even, if you needed, have a hand on the wall. That's okay. And then you're just going to send your butt to the back wall. And as I do this, I'm thinking about actually rotating my right side of my chest towards my left foot. So I'm angling the kettlebell actually towards my left foot and then standing up. And that for me is going to square me off and allow me to start to feel and control load through the pelvis, right? And again, you could use the wall if you need to. That's it. I'll show you the other side, give you a couple other cues that you can play with. Again, if you did 6 to 12 on each side, that's not a bad number. So second side, totally different for me. Softening the knee. Again, I'm kind of letting my pelvis, so my right side of my pelvis is rotating back. My chest is actually rotating almost a little to the left, but I'm not letting my weight fly way in front of me, hopefully. It's staying, this side I'm not as stable. Do you see that? It's staying roughly in line with my legs. For me, on this side, the wall actually messes me up. I do better with my hand on my hip or even out to the side. And that's it. So those are just a couple things that you can play with to kind of start to teach your body how to navigate force through your system. Bonus points, works your butt, works your core, makes you stronger, but also might make things feel a little bit better through your SI joint over time. So I hope you found this one helpful. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, I do try to update this channel fairly regularly, and I would invite you to subscribe, or you can hop on my email list. I've got the link down in the description to get weekly emails from me with lots of fitness, strength, and Pilates tips to get more out of your workouts and feel better in your body. I'll catch y'all on the next one.